Very good evening to one and all who are present here. Myself, Professor Vaibhav Gudboli from the Department of AI and Data Science, giving a presentation on perfect pitch deck presentation. Now, you can see the word presentation two times here. So now I think all of you or some of your groups have participated into the idea competition. So ultimate aim of idea competition is you make an idea and then you convert into a final product. Alright, this is basically the main aim. That was the main aim of idea competition, so that that will encourage you to start startups. Now, see, it is you have completed your design. I assume that you have just take a part into the competition, and then you have produced your material over there or your design over there. But this is not the only requirement, right? Because you need funds. You need funds to start a startup. So how to make an arrangement of such funds? So for that you have to make a perfect presentation in front of the audience, in front of the financiers. Okay, to make sure that you have to market yourself, or you have to tell how much good you are, or what progress you have done, and what are your plans in future. So all these things you have to present in a systematic format. So the aim of pitch deck presentation is not to just to get the finance, but to make sure that you will have another meeting with the financer, because no company will give you the funds immediately, only after the first listing, only after the first meeting. Alright, so in this case, that's why. So in this case, this particular presentation is you need to represent your product in a systematic way, so that company will attract, and company will those companies will be encouraged to provide some funds for your project. So the title of your presentation should be very catchy. For example, example of Uber. So we Uber engaged in traveling. Or for example, let us say you have a pani puri vending machine. So we are the manufacturers of pani puri vending machine for who provides good hygienic pani puri, like that. So like that. So you need to just based on depend upon your product or product title, you need to have a proper nice title of your presentation. That is the first thing. Second thing is, so you should write a table of content. So that is nothing but the problem versus solution. What problem you are trying to address, and what is the solution, and how you are going to resolve that problem. Then just write a small description about your product. Then write about the market and competition. How much is the market according to you, and who are the competitors, and what are their prices of the product which is similar to your product, and what is your business model, like how you are going to make this product available for the general public, and then how you are going to what are your plans for growing of your company, exactly what is your business model, how you are going to achieve the sales targets and all these things. So, and remember, this kind of presentation is you need to write less and represent it in terms of figures properly. So our company, the first slide is our company. There you can put up the company logo. Alright. Then you can just write down a small description of your company, a small description, only some 2 or 3 lines, and then you can elaborate it. For example, say whenever you are going to start a startup of say pani puri and dahi puri vending machine. Okay, so you need to just first of all identify. You have already identified the logo for your company, so you put up the logo over there, and then you describe the company in terms of some small sentences, or some small sentence of say 2-3 lines, and then you elaborate over there what your company does. Okay, and how much the product which is manufactured by company is helpful for general public, and what domain your products are. So all these things you need to explain in this under this banner. Then you need to describe your team, who are your team members, and those people are actually top people from the company, from your company. So if you are starting a startup.
So can you please write Denslin in? So you're muted.
Muted. Okay, all right. Uh, all right. So now here these are the information of the the team of your company. So you can put up their nice photographs and then you can explain what are their roles and responsibilities. So once you are having a startup, so put up the photograph of the top people and then describe themselves, like what are their positions, and then the problem, in the sense which problem that you are going to address, or which problem has encouraged you to start your startup. Okay, for example, let us say a pani puri vending machine. Okay, the problem is that whenever we go outside to have a pani puri, in that case there is always human interaction is there. All right, so the chances of it becomes sometimes people don't like, it becomes unhygienic. Whereas in this case, if you build a pani puri vending machine, so everything is automatic, and we'll try to avoid the human interface between it. Right, you just feed up all those ingredients there, and you fix up the timings, and then appropriately every ingredient will be put up inside the puri, okay, to convert into a pani puri product. So that was a problem. So that is what, because of the to avoid all these things, to avoid unhygienicity and make sure that you give the pani puri in a very cleanly environment. So that was actually the things which encourage you to build this pani puri vending machine. So I just give you an example. It depends upon your product, or you need to think for what purpose this product is useful and what problem you are trying to solve by manufacturing that product. So you explain it on this slide. That is what. So you discuss the problem here and then you discuss the solution here. So problem is that in the case of pani puri is unhygienic, and the solution is you are going to do it. Everything is automated. Everything is automated. Alright. So that is the case. So yeah. So that is just a general description about the problem and the solution, and then them and us. In the sense, suppose you have already found out some competitors, okay, who manufactures the same product as what you are proposing. So what are they? You need to try to, or you need to focus their their weak points. Okay, you need to focus their weak points, and then you tell how you are different than them. Maybe from terms of the quality of the machine, in terms of the cost of the machine. Okay, I'm just giving you again example of pani puri vending machine. So the cost of the machine, then the quality of the product, okay, and then the speed of that machine. So accordingly you can just compare them. Accordingly you can compare them, what is their product and what is your product, and how you are different in general. So try to put up some pictures of your competitor, pictures of the product of your competitor, and picture of your product, and compare them. And you need to, but here you need to focus on what are the problems of your competitors, okay, or what are the things that your competitors have not addressed and you have addressed those things. So accordingly you need to put up this in this slide. Then the SWOT analysis. So what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are their opportunities, and what are the threats. Okay, so this is what.
Vanessa is trying to join.
So then you need to discuss what are your strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats. So this will, as an investor, the investor will get clear-cut idea. So do not try to hide anything. If you have any weaknesses, you can just tell those weaknesses. Don't try to hide anything. Try to put up the truth in front of the investor, because investors are very experienced people. So just by looking into or making a meeting, two to three meetings, they will understand what are your weaknesses and what are your strengths. So you will try to put up here as much as truth as you can. So strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So these four things you need to tell about your company. Then give the overview of the product. So suppose initially you are targeting a pani puri vending machine and another dahi puri vending machine. I'm just giving you an example. So just give the product overview. So you can put up the pictures of your product. You can put up the pictures of your product and you give the overview of your product, exactly how it is and exactly what is its dimension and what are the features of each and every product that you try to give it. If you have only one single product, then it's okay. You can just put up a single picture of your product or multiple pictures of the same product, and then you try to evaluate the picture. Then you try to evaluate the usage of each and every product. You can also tell the various technologies which is used to to manufacture that product. Like for example, pani puri, dahi puri vending machine, which is ultimately our background image processing and machine learning is used. So accordingly, you can just put up the technologies which is used at background in order to construct that product. So you can just put up the pictures of a product and then you can elaborate. That is the product overview. So suppose you have a different plans. For example, let us suppose even in the case of pani puri machine also you have, let us suppose two or three different categories. Okay, depends upon the total number of pani puris coming out per minute or per minute, or let's say per 10 minutes like this. So it depends upon the speed of the pani puri machine. You can have just a small machine or a medium size machine or a large size machine. Accordingly you can just decide, and accordingly actually you can put up the cost of those products over there. I just give you an example of Basic Pro Premium that can be applicable to your product. So supposing within your product, if you have different categories, then you can put up those categories there, and then you can discuss the cost of each and every category. It depends upon the product, what product you are trying to market. Okay. Then you can give the small demo of your product, in the sense the working demonstration of your product. So you need to just put up a video here that fully demonstrates the working of the product, okay, so that the investor will get an idea how the product works, how the product is useful, and how it is function. Okay, so you can insert a video file here. So market and competition. So you can discuss here. So Mars, Jupiter and Venus, actually these are the you can say three different companies actually. Okay, so you can discuss their turnover, their sales, their profit margins, and you can actually compare the financial data with your company data. So it is nothing but the our attraction. Okay, so Jupiter is the biggest planet and Mars is actually a cold place. So this is just some random sentences which I have added, but this particular slide you can use to represent the entire financial background of your company as well as your competitor company, but in terms of some graph. So you try to put up some numbers, okay, which are very in large value, like this is number. So this kind of numbers attract investors. Okay, if you don't have it, then you don't put it. So whatever number, for example, say if your revenue is very high, or you are expecting that your revenue is very high, so you can put up that number in your slide. So that is actually that looks like that your target is very high, and accordingly the financier will attract over there. Then suppose you have already sold your product to your customer, then try to put up some reviews of those customers. That will be helpful for the investors to understand how much your product or what is the whether the product is liked to these particular users or not. So you can put up the reviews of all your customers. You can put up always, of course, you need to put up the good reviews, okay, of all your customers and in some few words. Okay, so you can put up their names and you can just put up their reviews in some few sentences. Then our awards. Supposing when you are doing some startup and initially you are getting some grants or some fund from the government initially, or maybe you are getting some awards, you got some certain award, okay, for some certain achievement from any other industrial body, you can discuss over there. That will add, or that will it will be added advantage, so the investor will understand how much whether the company is basically very, or what will be the what we can say, the feasibility of the product, and how much your product is good and how much your product is recognized by the outside world. Because you need to just discuss whatever your recognitions and award you got it from the industry here on this slide. Then our target. So you need to discuss what will be your target in a period of say between 6 months to 1 year. Okay, 6 months to 1 year span. So it depends upon what we can say, the importance of the product. Okay, so you can fix up the timeline 6 months to 1 year, and what will be the target. Target in the sense average spend per customer, or you can say average spend per customer, or you can put up the target of what will be your expected revenue, what will be your expected expenditure during that period, and those numbers will be very big, and those numbers will get attracted by the customers, by the investors, by the investors. So you can this slide you can use it to again represent one more graph. Okay, the growth of your company, like how much is the growth you are planning in in next month. That is, let us say you are giving presentation in February, then how much revenue you are expecting in the month of March, April, May, like that. So you can put up a graph over there. So picture is worth 1,000 words. So you try to market yourself, and you try to project the revenue part of your company. Then the market size here, supposing if you are targeting the world, or whether if you are targeting to sell your product at the different parts of the globe. Okay, so that you need to tell the investors, saying that yes, you are planning to start office at so and so locations other than India. So this is what our planning is, and accordingly we need funds also. Okay, so market size. Then you can discuss the your competitors. Okay, so you can just draw one table and discuss the features which are provided by your competitors for the same product. So in terms of a table. Okay. Then you discuss the business model. Okay, so business model in the sense, what are your marketing strategies? How you are going to work it out? Like how much amount of money that you want to invest or you want to spend for marketing. Okay, whether you are doing the digital marketing, what side of technologies you want to use it for marketing, and how much money you want it. Then training. Okay, how much money that you wanted to spend on the training, to give the training to your staff. Okay, because if you wanted to start, of course, if you want to start a new business, you need to train your people, right, for different technologies. So how much amount of money that you wanted to spend it for to give the training to your staff. Then assessment. Okay, how you are going to assess your product. Assess your product in the sense how you are going to make sure that the quality of your product is very good. What are your plans to make sure that quality is very good. Okay, so whether you are following any ISO norms to fix up the quality of your product. Okay, if you have ISO, if you are trying to get the ISO 9000 certification from the government body, it's fine. Otherwise, if you have such plans, then those plans needs to be discussed to make sure that quality of the product is good. Otherwise, a simple ISI mark, nowadays simple ISI mark is there on each and every product. Alright, so you can discuss about what are your plans to have the ISI mark on that product, and how much amount of money that you wanted to invest to make sure that quality of the product is good. If you have some QC department, you have the entire quality control section, so you can discuss how much amount of money you wanted to do the assessment of your product. And finally, the technology. What technology you are going to use it to make that product. As I said, if it is an example of automatic pani puri vending machine, then what kind of technology you are going to use it to make that product, and how much it will be useful, and how the technology actually changes the working of that product, and how that product is actually a hygienic product, like that. So you can discuss all these things. Okay. So it depends upon, again, it depends upon the type of product that you are going to invent. If you have image processing in your technology, you can discuss that thing also. So it depends upon your product. You can discuss the technology which is used to make that particular product. That is your business model. Then the timeline. Okay, how much you are targeting your sales revenue in Jan, March, and April to June, and July to August, and all that. So you can discuss in terms of some figures, or in terms of a separate graph that can be put up on this thing. Okay, so you can discuss about your revenue target, then your sales target. Okay, don't discuss profit right now, because since you are going to attract the investors, so profit margin is not required as of now. You need to just target the revenue. You need to target the total sales. You need to target the how many number of the total number of items of particular products that you wanted to sell during this period. For example, say Pani Puri machine, or for example, say car manufacturing company. How many total number of cars you are targeting to sell within this particular time period? So that this you can discuss. Okay. So what will be the revenue? What will be the sales? What will be the profit margin? Profit margin you can discuss. Alright. And this graph should be always in the increasing order. It should be the graph should be in the increasing order. So in Jan March, when you are targeting the revenue of, say, I'm giving an example, let us say 1 crore. Then April to June, you must target, or you must set a target of, say, 2 crore or 2.5 crore, like that. So this number should be always keep on increasing. So this slide also you can use it for the predicted growth of your company. So these are the different products. Okay, for example, a Pani Puri machine, or a Dahi Puri machine, or Shiv Puri machine, or whatever. I'm just giving you an example. So based on the various versions of your product, you can discuss the predicted growth. Growth in terms of sales, or growth in terms of revenue. You can draw multiple graphs also on a single slide. Then our investment. Up till now, how much you have invested, and how much you are expecting income for next year. So these things you can discuss. How much you have invested up till now for one product, and how much you are expecting expected income for next year. Okay. So I hope that at least you have understood this. So supposing if you have taken a part into the idea competition, or probably some of you may prefer or may go to to have a startup after your completion of your graduation. So, and you wanted to attract the investors. Okay, so you need to present your company very nicely, and you need to focus on all those points what I have discussed in this presentation, so that the first target is you should fix up the next meeting. Okay, the main aim of this presentation is to fix up another meeting with the investor. If you fail to present your company in this meeting, no investor will come. So obviously, just in a single meeting, no investor would like to confirm their investment just on depend upon only one presentation. No company will do that. No investor will do that. So the presentation should be in such a way that presentation will attract the investors. The investors will say after the end of presentation that yes, I would like to have the another meeting after some time. So actually, so that indicates that yes, you have gone one step ahead. Then in that meeting you can discuss some different strategies. Okay, this is the first meeting with your investor, and the aim is not to attract the funds immediately, but to fix up the date for the next meeting. If you could achieve this after the end of a presentation, I am sure that you can easily attract your investors, to get the funds from them to which is used to for the expansion of your business. Okay, so there are some templates which are available. Some of the templates are free. Some of the templates are paid. Actually, I have used this one of the free template. Okay, and just 1 second. Yeah. Now, what we'll do is okay, we'll do some case study of Uber's pitch deck presentation. Okay.
This is the pitch deck that Uber used to raise.
Okay, can somebody please tell whether you can hear the audio or not? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can.
Audio of video you can hear, no? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the pitch deck that Uber used to This is the pitch deck that Uber used to raise their first round of funding back in 2008. I think it's a fantastic example of a perfectly defined problem-solution combination. So obvious, it's surprising nobody else saw it before them. Now, I've always said that ideas are worthless without execution, and I stand by that. But well, Uber was a multi-billion-dollar idea. The slides certainly look very 2008, or very 1999. Anyway, we took the liberty of running them through our AI presentation design tool so that you don't have to endure Arial. Here's pitch deck examples, a teardown of the Uber pitch deck. The structure of this pitch deck can really be divided into these sections. Well, the cover, obviously, then the problem solution section, then the product section, which digs deeper into the product itself, which was still under development, then the market and go-to-market section, and finally wrapping up with a traction slide. Now, if you try to match this deck to a standard pitch deck template, you'll notice how the product section is vastly extended, as well as the market analysis and the go-to-market slides. I am not going to dig into each slide, but you can check them out directly at this URL, and we will link that in the video description. The exception on this pitch deck is that back in 2008, Uber's proposal was very new. It's understandable for the pitch deck to require additional slides for investors to be able to grasp everything that these guys were planning on doing. On the other hand, I must highlight how each slide has only a small amount of text. These aren't 20 overcrowded slides, but rather each slide touches on one specific topic with just the right amount of information. Okay, so let's talk about the slides in the problem solution section. The cab experience was undoubtedly broken, and this is the opportunity they saw. Notice that there are only two main statements on this problem slide. Using agent and inefficient technology, both for the radio and for the cars themselves, and then hailing is done using 90s methods, hands and phones, not taking advantage of the now widely available GPSs. Remember, we're talking about 2008 here. The problem is extended to another slide dedicated to the medallions, a clearly broken system for cab drivers. For the solution, the sentence I have to highlight is the convenience of a cab in New York City plus the experience of a professional chauffeur. Let's recall that the first version of Uber was close to what we know today as Uber Black. If you rode an Uber in the early days, the experience compared to a cab was vastly superior. Both of these slides could have been enhanced with product screenshots, but the company was still in an idea stage at this point, which, as I've said before, doesn't give you the best chances at raising capital. But remember, this was over 10 years ago. So check out our video on the traction requirements for raising money in 2019. Now for the product section. Again, since there was no app to show, each feature and piece of functionality had to be explained. I would have replaced many of these slides for a step-by-step diagram showing the process of hailing an Uber or telling the story of calling a regular cab versus calling an Uber. But don't listen to me. We're not the $72 billion company. A challenge I often see founders facing is the ability to summarize everything they have in their minds into a few sentences. These key differentiators and operating principles slides are a great example. To me, they can be condensed into a single slide. Both are referring to Uber's competitive advantages, which is a slide most decks should have. But here's how I would have solved it. Now, on this concept, I don't believe I missed any crucial details, but I was still able to summarize everything into a single slide, which is way more impactful. We often feel the need to add more when we really should focus on making sure each sentence in there counts. Business plans are way different, by the way, so let us know if you're interested in us touching on how to build a business plan. The go-to-market section. The market slide should put the company size into perspective. In this case, Uber used the US tax cab market as a reference, a $4.2 billion opportunity. To put this into perspective, Uber reported $11.27 billion in revenue in 2018, over 3 times more than the whole US market. The answer is simple. Uber quickly and efficiently became a global brand. Were the founders aware of the potential the company had? Maybe they weren't. So they added an interesting potential outcomes slide, which is not common in the pitch decks I've come across. They envisioned the best case scenario for the company as a $1 billion plus yearly revenue market. For good or worse, not even the founders themselves knew how big this company would become. Or maybe they knew and chose to stick to a more conservative, believable, and sellable story for the pitch deck. So Uber became a world leader. It paved the way for other companies like Lyft to follow, and there's still room to grow. They're even looking to move into self-driving cars, though none of this information is on the pitch deck. If a 2008 investor saw and adjusted our pitch deck, projecting what they were about to become, my guess is they wouldn't have bought it. I think it's a great lesson to learn about how to project your company on the deck. Finally, they closed the presentation with a traction slide at the very end. Not a lot, but these were different times. I've always said it, and I'll say it again. You need traction to raise funding. That's all for today. Let us know what other pitch decks you'd like us to tear down, and see you next week.
Okay, so I hope that you like this presentation. If you have any questions, you can ask. You need to just give a small feedback now. I will just share one link in the chat box. Everybody, please just share your feedback on this presentation. Just give me a minute. I will just share the link in the chat box. In the meanwhile, if anybody is having a question, you can ask. Just a minute, I need to take a photograph also of all of you. So please don't leave. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask. Just give this feedback, and the last question is actually you are supposed to make a presentation for your own product. It's not a compulsory for you to make it. All other questions are compulsory. It will take 5 minutes time. Okay, so I hope that you have attempted that feedback, and if you have any question, you can ask. Okay, so I think since no questions are there, we will stop here today. Thank you for attending my presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.